she was part of the group that helped to gain accreditation for fair trade, for Lindfield to become a fair trade village in 2018. Lots of you may not realise that, but we are a fair trade village. We then incorporated fair trade into Fairer World Lindfield to be more active on the climate and ecological front. Hannah's also a very busy lady, as some of you probably know. She's a year 2 teacher at Great Woolstead School and head of pre-prep as well. And she's very kindly invited us into school a couple of times as well. We've been able to work alongside the pupils there on fair trade, delivering fair trade workshops. And she's really great at encouraging these young people to have a social justice conscience and to think about caring for our world. So it's really great to have you here, Hannah. And I know you've dedicated a lot of time to this, so really grateful for that. And we're going to hear about her journey really and how she's gone forward into a more healthy lifestyle and for herself and our planet. So thank you, Hannah. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for the privilege it is for me to be able to do this session. So just to sort of add to what Chris was just saying, I live in Haywards Heath in a flat. I've lived here for 6 years, and as well as being a member of the Fairer World steering group, I'm also a member of an essential oils group called Peppermint Pine. So I think it's quite helpful to know where my eco journey began, and when I've been reflecting on this, for me it all started with my mum. Back to growing up as a child, things felt quite different for me to when I compared myself to my friends in how we led our life. For a large part of my childhood, we walked everywhere, we reused our shopping bags, my mum made my meals from scratch, she tried to avoid food waste where possible, we ate very little meat. I have clear recollections of walking into town on a Saturday, helping her carry the shopping home and going to Holland and Barrett for a treat to buy peanut butter, which they had a machine where they, it would grind down the peanut butter from the peanuts. And that was all those years ago. So when I think about it now, actually, my mum was a big influence in the choices I make now. I've always tried to look after our environment, but I'm constantly wanting to learn more about what I can do. And I believe, I forgot to say at the beginning, I'm a Christian, and I believe as Christians, we're called to be good stewards of our planet. And I want to hand our planet over in a better place to our future generations than it's in now. So I'm always on the lookout of how I can do that in a better way. So this journey for me continued further in 2011 when my mum was very sadly diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And whilst I felt that I was coping with kind of day-to-day life and managing to work and everything, something has to take the hit. And for me, it was my body that took the hit with this and the stress that I went through. And particularly with my kind of digestion. So I did lots of reading and research. I read a book called Clean and Lean, which is written by a guy called James Dwiggan. And I slowly transitioned to a different diet where, and I say diet, I mean a day-to-day diet, where I moved to a gluten-free mostly diet. I reduced the refined sugar that I eat. I now use a lot of alternative sugars to cook with and bake with, like coconut, maple syrup, local honey, stevia. I reduced the amount of cow's milk I drink, moved to plant milk, and I looked into sort of gut health. I started taking apple cider vinegar, and I now take kefir as well. So that was kind of the shift I made a few years ago. And this got me thinking, okay, so I'm thinking about what I put in my body, but what about what I put on my body, what I use to clean with in my day-to-day life in my home? It just got me thinking outside the box even further. And all around that time, a friend recommended essential oils. She said, have you thought about essential oils and cleaning? And I thought, really? Do the two go hand in hand? And so that was 2 years ago. And now I am 2 years along on this journey. And I now am really pleased to say I use essential oils to clean my home with, to help with my immune system, my digestive system, my well-being, and to make my own beauty products. So tonight I'm going to be sharing a little bit about natural cleaning, and with hopefully a few surprises. We'll have a Q&A, then I'm going to do another little surprise, and then we'll have another Q&A. So just before I start sharing my screen, I don't know, Chris, can people see me? Because I can only see you on my screen at the minute. So can you see me? Is that okay? Yeah?
Yeah, we can see
okay.
you.
Yeah. So one thing I just want to say before I start sharing my screen is, I believe every one of us on this call, we can learn from each other. I'm just sharing some of my story. And like I say, I love learning every day. I learn new things every day, every week. If you all take one thing from me tonight, I will feel like this has all been worth it. And I appreciate that each one of us come from different situations. So what I can do as a single person in a flat might be very different from what you can do if you're a family and you've got children. And I totally appreciate that. But hopefully if you can take one thing from what I say. So there's my little disclaimer. So I'm just going to share my slides now. As someone very used to teaching online through lockdown, you talk your way through everything you do. I don't know, it's just something we do. So I am just going to, hopefully the technology works. Oh, let's go back. Apologies. Okay, so let's just start at the beginning. I am going to cover, so on the natural clean front, let's just move this slightly out of the way so that you can, does that work? Is that good? Shall I go over there? Let's go over there.
Yeah.
Okay, so why does it matter, natural cleaning? I'm going to talk about debunking the myths, your natural cleaning cupboard, 4 basic recipes. Hopefully let's make one, and then we'll have a Q&A. And I'm very pleased to say that my lovely friend Claire and the leader of Team Peppermint Pint is here tonight, so she will help when it comes to our Q&A. If you have any questions, do jot them down and ask at the end. So let's just start with, does it matter what we clean with? So let me just start by saying not all chemicals are bad. Everything that we use is made up of chemicals. Some are naturally formed. Some chemicals work with our bodies and some work against them. And some of the most toxic products are actually in our homes. Things like bleach and all-purpose sprays and maybe like your oven cleaner, they can be some of the most toxic products that we use in our homes. And some of these chemicals, some of these toxins are capable of being known factors in cancer and, you know, are known as what we call carcinogens. And they can also interfere with our normal hormone functions, known as our endocrine system, or endocrine disrupting chemicals, EDCs. And just to sort of share a study that was done in the UK, in 2003, a study by the Worldwide Fund for Nature found as many as 70 different toxic chemicals in the blood of UK citizens. There was an average of 27, with one man having 49, and babies had as many as 20 toxins, possibly because they were passed through the placenta or through breast milk after birth. So that is quite shocking. And while there are laws about how many chemicals can be in certain products, this doesn't account for the layering, the fact that we might use one product and then pick up another product and another product. And when you think each one of those has got so many chemicals in, you put all that together and you can see we've had a huge exposure to some really toxic products. So that's why we would say it does matter what we're using every day and how much we're using these things. We obviously can't completely minimize it, but we can reduce it. And these products are not just causes of things like cancer, but also respiratory issues, skin irritation, just to name a few. So what I would say is, after this, if you're interested, do your own research, have a look, pick up the products you're using at home, have a look at the ingredients in them. Do you know what they are? And then decide, make some decisions for yourself. We all have choices to make. So I'm just going to talk about 4 of the big known toxins that are actually in a lot of products we use. So I'm just going to give you some information about these 4, but this list is by no means exhaustive. So the first one being fragrance. And now this is an umbrella term that covers so many different chemicals, and it is found in lots of different products that you will have, that we have in our homes, even some green cleaners, would you believe? And what we call short-term toxicity can include things like coughing, skin irritation, rash, wheezing, headaches, and long-term toxicity from these products can include cancer, lung, heart disease, and reproductive problems. Then we have triclosan, and now this is an ingredient that is used as an antibacterial agent to prevent some bacterial contamination, and it can be found in things like cleaning products, soaps, deodorants, cosmetics, baby products, would you believe, and some first aid products. And this has been shown to also disturb the endocrine system. And if you're interested more, it's quite complicated, the endocrine system, but is vital to what happens in our body. There will be a link put in the chat about that. Then we have another big product called phthalates, and this is a low-cost endocrine disrupting chemical that has also been known to interfere with hormone production, and it can be found in plastic food packaging, lotions, skincare, moisturizers, fragrance, cleaners, glues, and nail polish. And one that you might be more aware of is formaldehyde, which is a known carcinogen and recognized as such by the Cancer Institute. And exposure to carcinogens can cause eye irritation, asthmatic response, skin irritation, headaches, and nausea. And this is a much more hidden product. You don't always see it. It's not always written as that in the ingredients list. It can be covered by a sort of umbrella term, but it can be found in furniture polishes, pet shampoos, shampoo and conditioner, body wash, sun lotion, and cosmetics. Now, we appreciate that this information can feel scary, overwhelming, but that is why I think evenings like this are important, where we learn about what these products are. And I don't know about you, but I used to think that if I went to the supermarket and picked up something from the shelf, that because it was on sale in the supermarket, it meant it was safe and I could trust that it was okay for me to use. And I now know that is not the case. You need to do your own research, but a lot of products that we buy over the counter are not safe and are full of toxins that I would just, quite frankly, rather not be using. So one app that can be really helpful if you want to know how toxic a product is an app called Think Dirty. It's not at all dodgy. I've been using it. Well, I don't use it so much now, but initially I did. It's really good for checking how many toxins are in a product. It doesn't have every product on there, but you can scan the barcode and it will tell you how clean a product is, with a rating of 0 being non-toxic and 10 being very toxic. And that's really good for sort of just helping to raise awareness. So let's just debunk some myths before we get into what we would say the alternatives are that you can be using. So we have 3 of the most common myths about natural cleaning. The first one being it's complicated. Well, let me just say right from now, it's not. It works out cheaper. It's better for the environment. It contains none of those nasties that I've just been talking about. And it's just amazing to know that with 7 ingredients in your cupboard, you can clean your whole homes with natural products that are not toxic. And I think that's just amazing. The second thing is natural cleaning is expensive. So my answer would be yes, it can be expensive if you choose to buy all of these products here, all-purpose sprays, glass sprays, oven cleaners, toilet cleaners, using green products. Yes, that would be expensive. However, if you buy the 7 basic ingredients I'm going to talk about to make some simple cleaning products, then no, it is not expensive. I would actually say it's cheaper. You're buying a lot less plastic. Yeah. And also just be aware that not all green products that you think are green are as green as you think. And some of them contain the word fragrance. So just be aware of that. And the third myth, that natural cleaning isn't as effective. I think what I would say here is that you just need to know exactly how the recipes that you need to use, and you need to know the purpose of the 7 ingredients and how best to mix them and what to mix them with. For example, I'm going to talk about vinegar. We all know that's a fantastic cleaner. You know, it was probably used by your grandparents. It's very good at dissolving dirt, debris, grime, but it's not, it's limited in the way you can use it as a disinfectant. It doesn't kill all bacteria. Then you've got bicarbonate of soda. It's also an excellent cleaner, but when you put the 2 together, vinegar and bicarbonate of soda, they actually, what's the word I'm looking for? They counteract each other. So it's no good putting them together. I used to think you could, now I know you can't. And the oily group I'm part of, which is called peppermint pine, I'm very lucky, gives me access as part of being part of that group. I get trusted and researched recipes, so I haven't got to do all the research. So it can be effective. And just to say right from now, I do source my essential oils that I use from a company called Young Living. And I learned that it's very important that you do know that the oils you're buying, wherever you buy them from, are of a high grading. And you can go out and buy a really wide range of essential oils for very cheap, but actually you do need to know how much essential oil is actually in them. They might say they're 100% pure essential oil, but how much of the bottle is that 100% essential oil? Is it the whole bottle, or is it just a little bit that's got the 100% and the rest has been filled up with something else? So that is very important. Okay, now on to the 7 basic ingredients. So the 7 ingredients I use, I can make all of these products for my home, which I think is pretty amazing. So 7 ingredients, I can make all of those cleaning products at home. I would say all the ones down the left-hand side I make regularly, and some of the ones on the right too, in fact, most of them. Okay, so the 7 ingredients. I am just going to, hope you're all bearing with me. Are you all staying awake? Hopefully. Yes, good. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so the 7 ingredients. So bicarb of soda, also known as sodium bicarbonate, which is a white solid, and we often buy it as a white powder, a fine powder, should I say. here's your first ingredient. And second one, citric acid. Now, citric acid is naturally found in citrus fruits, but synthetic versions like this are produced from a type of mold in a process called microbial fermentation and is deemed completely safe to use. So citric acid, number 2. Then the third one, Castile soap. So I buy my bicarb, my citric acid and my Castile soap from Andy, who's on this call from Feel Good. And before that I did, and I do still support Towning's Farm Shop, and links to all these are going to be put in the chat. So I, instead of, buying more plastic, it works in a way that you can refill your own tubs. So I refill these when I need them rather than buying more plastic. It's cheaper, supporting local, more cost effective, better for the environment. So that's the first. Oh, I missed out sea salt. Coarse sea salt, I get that either from the supermarket or I think Andy started doing coarse sea salt, so I'll be able to refill that too. But this is actually a cardboard box, straight from the sea. Then we have essential oils. So I said that I buy my essential oils from Young Living, like these, Thieves and Orange and Lemon. Purification are the ones that we use in our team for cleaning purposes. What have I got there next? White vinegar. We'll know about white vinegar. At the moment, I buy that from the supermarket. If I can get that in refill, that would be great, but I haven't yet found anywhere. But perhaps Ounce, maybe in Lindfield, will do that as a refill.
Just let you know, Hannah, Andy does that as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I've had it.
There we are.
Yeah, okay.
See, I said I learn things every day. There we go. I've learned something new. So, it is important. It's distilled vinegar. So that is distilled vinegar, I think, anyway. I think it needs to be distilled. I will check that. And the last product on the list is Thieves Household Cleaner. So here is my bottle of Thieves. So this is a bottle of Thieves Household Cleaner. It is made up of essential oils, natural fats, which make non-ionic and oils, which are made up of non-ionic surfactants, which are basically wetting agents. Most cleaning products have a blend of anionic and non-ionic surfactants to balance the cleaning potential, but there is a risk of skin irritation from the anionic surfactants. Young Living just uses they balance non-ionic only surfactants, which are skin safe, with essential oils, because it doesn't have the anionic. I think someone might have just taken themselves off mute.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
We're everybody on mute. It's okay.
Sorry. So Young Living balance non-ionic surfactants in this, which are skin safe, but thought to be less effective. So they then add in the essential oils so that you have the non-ionic and the essential oils to make a really effective cleaner in this. And I'll be talking a bit more about this, but then that makes this a really versatile product to use for cleaning. So now I'm just going to share 4 recipes, and then I thought we could have a go, well, I will have a go at making one with you online. So here are 4 basic recipes, and hopefully if I stay in your screen, I will show you. So the first recipe, the all-purpose spray. So for my all-purpose spray, I use 1 capful of this, literally one of these caps. I fill it up and I put it in a glass bottle, and then I fill the glass bottle up with cool boiled water or tap water. I use this so often, about once a week. I could just simply put tap water in here. So there's the first recipe. If you didn't have the household cleaner, then you could use half a bottle of white vinegar in here, and then fill to the top with tap water and add some essential oils. we all know how vinegar has quite a strong smell. So you'd need the essential oils in there. So there's your all-purpose spray, recipe number 1. Let's just move this over. Recipe number 2, actually, I'll leave it back there so that you can see the ingredients. So the cream cleaner. So my cream cleaner, I make in a pot a bit like this. And I put in a cup of bicarbonate of soda. And then I add in 2 tablespoons of thieves cleaner into here. But if you didn't have thieves cleaner, then you could use 1 cup of bicarb, 4 tablespoons of Castile soap, 8 tablespoons of cool boiled water, and then add 10 to 15 drops of essential oil. And then you've got your own cream cleaner. And you just mix all that together. And if you need to, add a little bit of water to get the right consistency. And there you have your cream cleaner, that easy. Then,
can I just say, not everybody sees what you wrote in the chat, which was recipes will be shared by email after the event. Because I can see some people madly writing down things. So
oh yes, sorry.
We've written it in the chat, but not everybody might see that. So
yeah, we'll share the recording, but we'll also share these slides so that you get these recipes. Okay. Yeah, sorry, and I meant to reinforce that, and I forgot.
That's okay. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
okay.
No.
Great, thank you.
I like it to be interactive. Okay, the third recipe. Called here the heavy lifter. I call it my dishwasher powder because that's what I mainly use it for. Is made up of, you really need your cups with these recipes, but 1 cup of bicarb, then half a cup of citric acid, and you just mix them all in a bowl, 1/4 of a cup of sea salt, and then 10 drops of thieves oil, orange oil, and lemon oil. That's what we put in to our heavy lifter. You could do it with your own essential oils, then using the bicarb, the citric acid, and the sea salt. So, and then store it in an airtight container. And there you have dishwasher powder. You mix it really well so that everything blends together. But I also use it as my toilet cleaner and when I clean my oven, which I might say is not very often. And then the last recipe is soap. So for the soap, you need a foaming soap dispenser like this one. You need your Castile soap, and you need some essential oils, and then you can make a hand soap. Again, you're reusing, so using less plastic, better for the environment. So there are 4 really basic recipes where you can use those 7 ingredients to make up. Now, how are we doing for time?
We've got about
I've just
not that long.
Just enough time. I think I can make the hand soap. Okay, so just to say, if you are interested in learning any more about essential oils, then we do actually have a class this Friday via Zoom, an intro to oils class, 8 o'clock this Friday. It's free. Just email me if you would like more information. There's my email address. So this is the team I'm part of, Peppermint Pine, who you can follow on Instagram at peppermint.pine. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now, and I just thought it would be quite fun before we do the Q&A if I just make something on the screen. So here goes. So I actually genuinely need to make some more of this. It's almost finished. So I've got my hand soap pump. So I'm going to put in, I've got my Castile soap from Andy. I'm going to put in, so some recipes say 1/4, some say 1/3. I'm going to pour in 1/4 Castile soap. Hope I haven't put too much. No pressure when you're on a call. Because of what I'm doing next, I need things in 2 different places. So I have actually already put the thieves and orange. So I put 8 drops of thieves and 8 drops of orange in earlier, just so you didn't have to sit and watch me dropping all the drops in to here. And I did mean to have this down so you could see it, sorry. And then this is where I just put my cool boiled water. So I'm just going to fill it all the way up to the top. And that is my foaming. And don't do what I've just done, which is put too much in. So that when you put the lid on, so I'm just going to tip some out into my cup. You need to leave enough room so that you can put the top down. Okay, so there, and then just give it a shake. And let's hope it works. So, and then we have foaming soap. Now I won't rub it all into my hands. So I just thought that would be quite good to show you how quick and easy that is to make foaming hand soap. Right, while I just clear this up, do we want to start if there are any questions about any of that? And Claire is here as well, and I'll just move this.
We have a message, Hannah, from Hickey. We've lost the top of your head. Oh, there you are. There you go. Who says, "What's the amount of mil in the bottle, please?"
Oh, in this hand soap?
I assume that's what she means. Yeah.
Or in the household cleaner?
Yes. Yes, she says. In the first one, in that bottle.
So the foaming hand soap. This is 236 mils. In there.
Okay.
And I think that's a fairly, what would you say, Claire? Is that a fairly standard?
Yeah, I mean, you can get bottles kind of you can buy them, pump bottles. Sometimes they're 300 mils, sometimes they're 500 mils, but you're just ratioing up that amount basically. So that recipe that Hannah's given you is probably for a 250 mil-ish amount. So if it's a 500 mil, you might just want to double the drops of oil, but whatever, you're just putting in that kind of quarter of Castile, whatever size the bottle is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks, Claire. There's one from Maggie Lloyd. What size are the cups in relation to drops of oil? It's just a cup, isn't it?
Oh, yes, just, measuring cups.
A measuring cup. Does that help?
Does that make sense, Maggie?
Well, cups are just different sizes. I didn't know if you meant like the American plastic cup that you can buy. Only obviously you can make all the cups the same size, but if you're adding oil, is the cup, this big or this big sort of thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, the drops are always, drops of oils. You're never putting in cups, obviously, of oils. But I just use my measuring cup. So I assumed the measuring cups are a standard size.
I have made the powder before with like mugs and all sorts. I just use the same amount of oils. It's not an exact art.
Okay.
So don't worry too much about it.
Okay, thank you. Not like baking a cake, quite.
No.
A question from me, Hannah and Claire. I just wondered why, with the heavy lifter, you use the orange and the lemon oils. Is there something with the combination?
So
orange plus lemon.
Well, I mean, personally, for me, we know that lemon oil is very good for helping with the cleaning, and certainly because that's going in the dishwasher, we need the best outcome possible. The orange is more in there because it just helps with the smell. Would you say, Claire?
Yeah, I mean, both of them are great. Lemon obviously is good for like the kind of shine and everything. If you're looking at like glasses and things, lemon's also a natural antibacterial. Yeah, orange is probably there slightly more for the scent, but yeah, the three of them together are just a great combo.
Okay, thank you. And I don't know if you're coming back to this, but where or how do they get the Thieves household cleaner? You'll come back to that at the end, will you? The actual, we haven't got that's through you. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, if you are interested in that, then email me. Okay. Come to the class on Friday, either. Yeah.
Okay.
And the email's in the chat. And
your email is in Hannah's email is in the chat. So before we move on to the second half, are there any more questions? Anybody perhaps wants to come on screen and say it? They're not in the chat.
Could I just say I didn't get Hannah's email address because I couldn't see it in the chat. So it came up and went. Could you just put that up again, please?
Yep, okay, we'll put it up again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay, if there aren't any more questions at this stage, we'll move on to the second part. Is that okay, Hannah?
Yeah, sure.
Great, thank you.
I'm wondering, I think Marilyn meant because she can't see the chat, she won't be able to see that. Marilyn, I can give it to you, don't worry.
Thank you, Hannah.
I can't remember, have I said, because I've practiced this a couple of times, I can't remember, did I say anything about why Thieves is called Thieves?
No.
No.
No, so that might just be helpful because sometimes people say, why is Thieves called Thieves? So just before I do the next bit, just to say that Thieves is a blend that is solely inspired and created by Young Living. It comes from the legend of 4 15th century French thieves who formulated and wore a combination of clove, rosemary and vinegar and other botanicals that they believed to help protect them while they were stealing and robbing all those that sadly had died from the plague. And the French police said that if they divulged the ingredients of what had protected them from getting the plague, they would get less of a punishment. And so Young Living, one of its founders, Gary Young, created the blend Thieves, and he added cinnamon bark, lemon and eucalyptus radiata to the blend Thieves oil. So it comes as a Thieves oil, but then this is the household cleaner that also contains those 5 oils. So I thought that might just be helpful to know. Otherwise you think, why is it called Thieves? I remember Chris, you saying to me, it's such a strange name. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a tour of some things I do in my kitchen on my kind of eco journey. So I'm going to turn my camera off of the surface so that it doesn't confuse you. And hopefully this works. Start my video here. And I need to flip it. Okay. So I'll just put a couple of my bits back so you can see. Obviously that's disturbing me slightly that I've put the top on the wrong way around. But anyway, there are my Thieves products. And let's just bring this one over here. So just to say, I have my watering can quite unusually, I know, sitting on my kitchen side just so I can put any leftover water in there. And also then I put any leftover kettle water in here because you need cool boiled water for a lot of the products with using essential oils, so I do that. This is, now I learnt this through peppermint pinting, through one of the gardening classes, because we have lots of classes, and this is banana tea, not to be consumed by humans. Well, I've never tried it and I don't plan on. So I soak my banana skins for 48 hours.
Hannah, could we just stop you a moment?
Yes.
I've got one person saying they can't see anything.
Could you turn the microphone off on your laptop and use your phone microphone?
Is it just because they need to scroll to the screen that's got my phone on? Is that why though?
I think it may be, but there we go.
So I was just talking about my banana tea and my watering can where I just put any leftover water in there to reuse it rather than putting it down the sink and water my plants. So banana tea, not to be eaten or drank, should I say, but I soak my banana skins for 48 hours in water, and banana skins are known for being really high in phosphorus and potassium and calcium and make really good natural plant food. So then I pour that into the watering can and plant and water my plants. So that's banana tea. And then I put my cool boiled water left over from the kettle in there because I need it in lots of the cleaning products I use. So that's just pure cool boiled water. I was talking earlier about kefirs. These are my kefir grains. But basically, I bought kefir grains a few years ago, and you just continually let them ferment, and then it's basically like creating your own yogurt. And I strain it every 2 days, and that's really good for gut health. So I just put here my flasks. So when I go out, I do try and take my flask with me, so that if I buy a tea, I can have it put in there rather than getting disposable cups. But if I do use one of these locally or from wherever, I do bring it home, rinse out and put it in recycling rather than putting it in landfill. I'm always looking for ways to try and put as little as I can in landfill, because we know that that is not good for the environment. And I would really recommend this flask, this particular flask. I'm very fussy, if any of you know me, about my tea. I've had this flask for 11 years, it's still going strong, and tea actually tastes like tea in it. And I think it's all to do with having a stainless steel inside. So yeah, I can highly recommend these flasks. So then I'm going to open up my cupboard, and these are my refills that I get either from Andy from Feel Good, or from Clough's, or from Towning's Farm Shop. Sunflower seeds, my nuts, my chia seeds, cacao nibs, oats, cinnamon and ginger, spices you can get from Andy or from Clough's. I refill my cocoa powder, and there are more seeds. Sometimes I buy them in packets and then just transfer them into jars. It's better for the environment, it works out cheaper and less plastic, and I'm supporting local, which is a really good thing that's come out of COVID. I also get loose tea, just keeping an eye on time, which I get either from Towning's or from Andy. A couple of years ago, I reduced the amount of fizzy drinks. I don't drink a lot of alcohol anyway, and I managed to pick up this Soda Stream for £10 on Facebook Marketplace from someone in Haywards Heath. This saves me buying, I used to get through 2 bottles of sparkling water, the large bottles of sparkling water a week, but now I just have to buy these bottles. I've just recently bought a new set. They last about 3 years, and then there's nothing wrong with them, but they just tell you have to buy new ones of these. But it reduces the amount of plastic that I buy massively. And instead of buying paper towels a couple of years ago, I bought 1 roll of bamboo towels. Looks like this, from Eco Egg, from Infinity Foods down in Brighton. You get 20 of these, and they are towels made from bamboo, and you can wash them. And I have washed them, I reckon they might even be 3 years old. I probably need to buy a new set really, but they're still going strong, and I take them everywhere and they're fab. So yeah, let me just check my list. Okay, last thing to show you is I also make, using essential oils, my own beauty products. So this is a very popular recipe that we use on our group called Glow Serum. It's basically a really luxurious face moisturizer made from frankincense, copaiba and lavender oil. And then the carrot oil that you put in is, well, I use is jojoba, an organic oil, carrot oil that's really kind on your face. So that's, and I use that on my face morning and night. And then I also make this makeup remover solution, which is just simply made from water, fractionated coconut oil. This is the bottle I bought when I first started this a couple of years ago. There's still about 1/3 in there, so I'm on the same bottle. A splash of witch hazel, and lavender essential oil. And then I make up that solution, pour it into my jar that has got reusable cotton pads that I wash. Goes in a little pouch and I just wash it in the washing machine. Just keeping an eye on time. So they are two of the beauty products that I make. Oh no, I did forget something. Just to say, I do live in a flat, but it doesn't stop me from having a compost bin. So I do have a compost bin. Again, it just reduces how much rubbish goes in my landfill. And I just walk it down to a friend's or to my school where they have a compost. So I'm just going to stop my video on here and start my video back here. Do you want to unpin me, Peter?
Yeah, you're unpinned.
Yeah. So I just really wanted to finish by saying that I hope it's been helpful. I hope that you realise that we all have choices we can make. I hope it maybe has given you some information that you didn't know, and that you might go away and think about some of the things that I've shared. I use a really helpful website called The Good Shopping Guide, which I think Chris and Peter, you actually encouraged me to use this, and I use it to help me inform decisions I make before maybe changing my energy supplier, about my banking, and a link to that is going to go up in the chat. And it's really helpful because you can just see how ethical different companies are, supermarkets, banks. And I think that we all have the ability to make choices about who we support, where we buy things from. And I hope that tonight might have encouraged you just to think about what you put on and into your body, and where you choose to buy things from, and how you might be able to make maybe some small steps to making more environmentally friendly, sustainable choices. So thank you very much. I hope that's been helpful.
Thank you, Hannah. Well, that was amazing. And you've got some wonderful comments in the chat, which we'll share with you at some point, but people have really appreciated it. There might be a couple more questions. Just go to Maggie to hear another voice. Maggie, you had a question.
Oh, about the Kilner jars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tried to get a couple today in a local shop in town, but I've just realized they're not any good in the microwave or dishwasher for sterilizing. So I wonder where you got yours and if they are.
That's a really great question. I once put a Kilner jar in the dishwasher and never again, because it just doesn't work. So I just wash mine up in, I do have Kilner jars, and I've got a couple from Andy as well. But I just wash mine up. I don't put them in the microwave or the dishwasher. In fact, I only really use the microwave for kind of heating my wheat bag and things. I don't use it for a lot of cooking.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks, Hannah. Yes, I bought various sizes from Andy. She can buy them sort of bulk.
Oh, good. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Touch with Andy if you can. Donna was saying what a great flask you have. Just say the name again for people.
Oh, yes.
Flask. What's it called?
It's a Bodum flask, Bodum, Bodum. I can't recommend them enough. The only thing I will say is it's not leak proof. So it's great for keeping tea nice and coffee and hot, but if you turn it upside down, it will come out.
Okay, thank you. Good tip. A couple of other things. When you were going round, you mentioned that you couldn't hear things quite the same. They had a white grains that had a blue top on.
Yes.
What was that?
Oh, my kefir grains.
Kefir grains.
Kefir. So you get milk and water kefir grains. They're really good for gut health, for putting some of the good bacteria that we all need in our gut back into our gut. And the idea is a bit like taking a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in the morning in hot water, that you have the kefir before you eat to kind of put the good bacteria into your gut, and it just helps with your digestion.
Okay, Donna says, is it vegan?
My one isn't, because I put whole organic milk in it, but you can do kefir with a plant-based milk. I tried it unsuccessfully, but I know that you can do it. And you can also get water kefir grains. You have to, I can email the link to where I bought my kefir grains, because there's a lot of helpful information on the website.
Okay, if you could, and we'll include it in the mail out with the slides, okay?
Yeah, I'll write myself a note now.
Okay, and then the other thing which you whizzed through, which sounded amazing, the things that you're doing with beauty products as well. And is there any way that you could maybe do a short list to send for us to send out with the cleaning products as well?
With the
You were
ingredients
talking about cleansers, you were talking about face cleansers
and the makeup remover. So you mean like a recipe for the
yes,
glow serum and the makeup remover?
if that's possible, yeah. I mean,
What I would say, yeah, I absolutely can. The effects that I get from using those are, I think, because of the essential oils I put into them. So I would just say it with a disclaimer that, you know, you do need to be using reputable, high grade essential oils if you're going to make beauty products using essential oils. So I would encourage you to come to maybe the class this Friday.
okay. And they can find out about the class. You're going to put it at the end, or through your email that you've got in the chat about the class.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to send the slides, aren't we, in the recording, and
yes.
And they will have information about the class on Friday in that.
We're getting that as quickly as we can. And Maggie's asking also where you buy Thieves. Looked online, it was £28 a bottle. Is that right?
Yes, it's the pricing. I mean, Claire, help me here. Will depend on what. It's £30.
It's £29.99 with shipping included, which sounds like an awful lot, but as Hannah said, you only use a capful at a time. So I've got 4 kids. We're a family of 6, and a bottle of that lasts us about 9 months to a year. Okay, so it really does go a long way, because 1 cap makes you a 500ml bottle.
Oh, great, thank you.
And for me, my first bottle, this is now my 2nd bottle, but my first bottle lasted me 18 months. Now, because I use it even more and for more of the recipes, I'd say it probably lasts less. So it lasts anyone between 9 months to 18 months. Would you agree, Claire?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, thank you. So it's really, really good value for money.
Yeah.
Edith has got a question up there. I'd just like to know where you are, Edith. Are you local or not? You've asked a question about Castile soap.
I'm in Staffordshire, that's why I was just asking. I know she mentioned a couple of times the places where she buys from, but I'm not local, so I don't know.
Okay, because we do have somebody locally who supplies that. But Hannah or Claire, is there a website that you would particularly recommend to get Castile soap from?
Yeah, I mean, we recommend, do you agree, Claire, that places like the Homely Haven or the Soapery or Naissance?
Yeah, I use the Homely Haven mainly for Castile soap. She sends kind of big bottles, so it will last you. It is in plastic. The bottles are plastic, but they are big, so they would last you a long time.
Thank you.
Hey, I don't know if you heard those, Edith, but also Andy is saying have a look for a local zero waste store. Where
okay.
And Claire has put Homely Haven in the chat there, or the Instagram, Edith.
Thank you.
You see that in the chat, Homely Haven? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have we answered everybody's questions? Has anybody got any other questions? Have I missed anybody out?
No.
No? Okay. We've got a couple of just a a quick couple of things to do before we end, but firstly I'd like to say, and I'm sure everybody with all the comments that are coming up here, what a great talk it was, Hannah. Really informative, really helpful, very clear, very positive. Yeah, I'm really impressed. That's why you look so healthy and lovely.
Sorry about that.
Okay, well thanks so much, Hannah. Just stay on for the last minute or so, and then we'll finish. Okay.
And can I just say thank you to Claire for coming and supporting me and being here too. Thank you.
Yeah, our thanks to Claire. Yeah, that was coming. Yeah, we've got just to talk about a future event. We have a climate cafe, as we said, every month. And the next cafe is on Monday, the 3rd of May, and it's called The Wonderful Life in Your Back Garden. And James, who's on the line, who's with us now, is just going to tell us a little bit about it. James, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm going to be speaking about wildlife and small creatures in your garden. I'm not speaking to professional gardeners or farmers. This is purely stuff that I've done. I'm going to start off with telling you how I had a love affair starting with insects, and it's quite funny. I mean, it was a really lovely thing. We moved into a house with a very small, tiny postage stamp garden about 3 years ago, and we kind of like blitzed it until it looked like a prison exercise yard. And then we've spent the last 3 years transforming it into something that's a haven for wildlife. And it's absolutely lovely to sit and watch and see what's coming to visit the garden, even though it's very urban. I'm going to be speaking about some things that you can try to do to green up your garden, to welcome these little visitors, and some things that you can try not to do. Obviously, I realize I'll be talking to the converted, so I'm trying to find some new things that we can try as well. I am going to center my talk on insects because I have a passion for insects. What is an insect? A lot of people are really ignorant, and there's lots of exciting stuff. So I've got a fab little way of putting the major groups into places, and you can find them very easily. You can say, oh yeah, this one is a fly because it has 2 wings. This one is a beetle because it has this mark on its wings. And then there'll be some time for question and answers and for sharing your own thoughts about how you encourage visitors into your garden. I will be talking about kind of attitude shifts as well, and so we can get really excited about these visitors that come into our garden, plants and animals, share with neighbors, and primarily share with young people, so we can teach them about this heritage that they can enjoy as well. I think it's going to be a super talk, good fun.
Thank you, James. I'm really excited already. I'm excited about insects and just really recognizing, and we are now, realize how important insects are to our planet.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be great. And thank you for mentioning young people, because I'll try and get it out to some of the local secondary schools as well. It might be helpful for them. So thanks, James. That's the 3rd of May. And if you're not happy to have your name added to our email list, if you weren't originally on our email list, you've just joined up for this, then please let us know if you're not keen to hear about further events. And the Zoom room will be open for another 15 minutes. I think Claire and Hannah will stay online just in case there are any questions that people maybe feel a bit too shy to ask in front of everybody else. They're going to stay on for a bit. And just to say thank you very much for Claire. I went to one of her workshops the other week, and she was brilliant too. Really, it was really very informative. So I'd really encourage you to think about the Friday class this Friday. Look into it. Okay, so those who need